I would.
Okay, let's do it.
But I really want to drink something. But
Do they have any water?
like, see if there's any water in the jar. I think there is.
Ah, yes. Hello, Andrea.
Hi, Isabel.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. My first question would be, we are wondering, when we were preparing for this interview with you, we were hesitating calling you an architect or a designer, because in fact, your work also involves a lot of design, and you have these tastes for design, and you also give advice to your clients. So how would you consider yourself, more as an architect or a designer?
I think maybe the easy answer, as I said, is to be both, because I could do both. I could do just some design job for a specific project, right? But I am an architect, so I have to call myself an architect if I have to choose between the two.
Okay, and what do you think being an architect helps you to do your job in a better way? Or do you think, because I think some designers might not have the architectural background, so what is this architectural background giving you as an edge in your profession?
Yeah, when you say my profession, I mean this kind of project, to design an interior space. You mean
Yes.
this? Yes. So basically, it does give me a little bit of, I think, I don't want to, but a little bit of advantage.
Okay.
Because being an architect, or study to be an architect, or so it give you also some other perspective, which is how to design the space, how to move the space around. So not just decorating, not just changing material or refurbishing a place, but actually if you have a background of an architect, you can actually change the overall space of an existing space. So that is quite important, because when you go to any redesign space, it's nice to see new materials, new colors, new furniture, but if it's also the space change, it will totally feel different.
How would you introduce yourself?
Maybe a married man with 3 daughters who has found this design company. And I think maybe that's it. I think.
Wow. So first a family. And
probably I would say an artist as well.
An artist.
I want to think that I can do a bit of art.
Can you just tell us about your company, like introducing us your company?
To describe the company, you have to read the name, because it's just that. It's a +1 studio. +1 means me plus you plus Daniela. So it's like there is no me. There is just a collaboration process between everybody constantly. So that's what I would like to say to my collaborators. There's me, you, the supplier, the engineering, the client, and so on. Yeah, so we are open to any type of project that is involved designing. So we are doing, we are taking on a super small project like a logo design, for example, and we also design industrial buildings. So we are very passionate about designing, and also executed, So we don't just design and give this to the client. We used to do it, but then we found out it's not so good, because you cannot control it, and then it becomes something else. So now if we do it, we're trying to finish all to the end.
So you offer a solution from A to Z, basically.
Yeah, I think so. We do digital designing. The graphic designers as well. So yeah.
Perfect. So now a question about when you got started to have your own company. How did it happen? How did you make this leap? How did you decide, okay, I'm ready for that? I want to tackle this in China and being my own boss and having my own company. So how did it happen?
Of course, everybody has a dream, to open a company by himself. But I had to open it. I was forced to open it. This company to found this company because because the client had to pay me, and they couldn't pay me if I didn't have a company.
Okay, so that's how actually the client dragged you into it.
Because I was an employee, and I was an employee for a Chinese company, and I did some speech. I did some presentation to a pharmaceutical company, the biggest in China. We did some interior project for them, and a few weeks later he called me. I don't know how he got my number. I mean, his manager called me, and the boss saw the presentation, so he called me. And I didn't understand Chinese, so I gave to at the time my assistant. Said, "What is talking about?" And then what he was saying on the phone, that he wanted to give me without any bidding, which means any competition. They just want to give me this factory to design it. They wanted me to design this factory. So okay. So I decided to do it. But then when we signed, I did also sign the contract. And then, as I say, and I formed a team of collaborators, me and few architects, because it was a huge project. It was a 100,000, more than 100,000 square meter. So we had to make sure they could pay us, and to do that, they cannot pay to a private bank account. So because of this, we had to register a company.
Wow.
So
but what happened in your mind when this opportunity arose? Like, what did you think at that point? How did you feel?
To be honest, I didn't have time because since that day, I never stopped working.
Wow.
So literally. Yeah, maybe with the last year event, I was a little bit more relaxed, but we never stopped project after project. In China, you had the deadline, and there was 2 weeks, 3 weeks just to design a factory. So there's no time. You work not necessarily overtiming, or let's say late at night. Not really, but every day non-stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you move into a place and you can feel which type of material would be the best, and how do you choose actually in general which type of flooring will match the best project that you have?
Okay, there are couple of things. Maybe the number one is the budget also, because of course you can go you can choose between very different materials. Some can be very extremely expensive, some less. So that's the budget of the client is also number one factor for an architect, because you cannot design something you're rendering and then they cannot be built because the budget is not allowed. So the budget, but also not only that, it's about the function. So if it's a commercial space, even not necessarily you have to use a very expensive material for the flooring in this case. So you have to choose the right material. Okay, so it can be, then you have to do your research, and then so if it's a commercial for a public space, public function, then you have to consider only few, cannot be so many. If it's an office space, it's different. If it's a private house, clearly it's a different one.
Okay, and the SPC flooring is kind of an innovative one. It's very recent type of flooring. So I guess it also gives you a new way of doing your work. So how does this maybe help, or what is your vision about this new innovative type?
I think architects in general, or designers, like to work with this material because it's very easy to work with. It's not. We use it for offices a lot. I mean, in fact, I don't remember any office project now that the client or we choose real wood, because it's just much more it's not so practical to use it. While the SPC flooring is giving us a lot more flexibility, also cost effective, and also durability. You know, it's as strong as the wood, if not more. Maintenance wise, it's also better because with the natural wood, for example, we're talking about, I'm comparing the wood because with wood, for example, we take, you know, the more older it gets, and maybe in some spaces you like that kind of scratchy flooring. So, but in an office where usually only has a life in China, especially for 5 years, something like 4 years, because then usually they move out of the refurbishment. So that is a perfect material for us to use because it lasts all 4 or 5 years or 6 years. Well, it depends how they maintain it, but we like it to use it. And you can come, you can choose between different colors, different types, and so it's a very flexible for the designer. It doesn't matter which look do you want. If it's a concrete look like,
yes,
you can use it. If it's a very warm, cozy space and you want to use some warm color, so you can also choose between different options.
Yeah,
so we like.
Give you freedom. It gives you freedom of choice, and maybe as well in the long run, you might have less complaints, and your client will enjoy it for like several.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing your client has to do it is to keep it clean, of course, like any other floor. And this is also a good, another good part or an advantage of this type of flooring, because you only need very few products to clean it, to keep it clean.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. And I saw in your all your adventures, I would say, because you are from Italy, and you have been in London. And now you are in Shanghai, and it's been a decade that you are in Shanghai, and you are your own boss. You have your own company, plus one studio, architects and designers. So what is the key of your success in China as a foreigner coming in a foreign country like China and succeeding in various projects? So what is your secret?
Thank you for this succeeding words. So thank you for that. Well, so far we've been active for 5 years, 6 years. So this is I think I'm quite happy with that, because I've seen many people like me maybe tried, and in a couple of years maybe they had to maybe stop it. So we've been lucky, I think, first of all. But also I think we did a good job, because we don't have much marketing department in my company. So if we have been still running the company, it means that usually it's been word of mouth, as you say this in English. So the clients been advising other clients. So this is good, means we are doing. I'm trying not to project all the attention to me. I rather to have everybody in my company to do their part, which they do, but also to the eyes of the client. So I don't want the client just look at me and say, I mean, one day I would like to, but at the moment it's still a little bit like this. So which means, I guess they kind of trust me. Okay, so they call, they come to me directly. But also I think you need to be able to have good collaborators, and I think the one I have, they are quite good. So it's been a luck, but also you need to be patient with them. Because it's not easy sometimes to work so long. But I've been working with them for 4, 5, 6 years. Wow. So this is not very common. So usually they come and go. And that is the weakness. Every time some employee goes, or some collaborators, let's call them this way, it weaken a little bit your company. So more time they stick together more strong. Let's say it appears to the client that you are more stable. So that's another factor. Stability, especially the Chinese client. They like that. They wanted to call you in a few months and see that your architect is still there. And so that's also this is about business. About design, if you want to know about the design, I think maybe, I'm not sure, maybe is my background, right? I have an artistic background, so maybe also give a little bit of edge, because usually architects here, not all of them, come from an artistic background. I did School of Art before, so at 16 I started to do architecture. Usually you go to university at 18 or something like that.
Wow. So you would say that your biggest challenge might be to find the right people to stay in the company. But what other challenges are you facing? Because you worked in Italy, you worked in England, and now you work in China. So what is the specificality of China that makes it challenging for you? If any, maybe
If
there
any.
is no.
No, I mean, I don't think there is. I haven't found any particular challenge. Not easy, because it's the language is always a problem. Because can you imagine me trying to do a project, the one, big project, when I have to listen my translator or maybe the client translator, so I need to. So basically, I would say 40%, which is very high. It's a guess game. So it's very, very, this is a challenge. I think that's the only challenge, because the rest actually is pretty much working. That's the success of China in general, right? They are not wasting times. They're really effective. So if they choose a designer, a architect, within a week there is a contract. There is a contract signed within a week. It's not everywhere it's like this. You take a bit more time, and also to complete a project here is
quick as well. So this is not a challenge. The challenge is sometimes, is the launch. So you need to guess most of the time.
And how do you choose your suppliers, for example, for the flooring or any other materials that you need for your project? What is important for you to have a successful partnership with a provider of any material?
I think there is one answer, is the customer service, Of course, product is also important, of course, but I think the customer service in my situation, in my experience, I think is the most important, because to communicate frequently, easily, efficiently with your part is the number one thing, because we are maybe rushing, we have not much time, to talk, to waiting the answer, to reply. So, for instance, most of the time the supplier will choose the first answer. I mean, the first one who answers us get the job. It's as simple as that. And then, of course, if the experience is positive during the project, then we will keep working with them. If it's less, maybe we don't. But for sure, if you are very quick to reply and very good to reply, we have no time.
It's one good sign.
It's a good sign. So I think this is one. Even sometimes we really like this product, but they are so difficult, or they're very slow in reply. Then we have to exclude them, even if we really want to work with this.
So I want to ask you, what inspires you? What fuel you to do your job? Because it's very pressuring. You have time pressure. You have as well clients that are very demanding, and sometimes what they have in their mind and you have in your mind can be very different. So how do you cope with this? Where do you find your inspiration?
Okay, so the inspiration-wise, I found everywhere. I would say looking at other projects. Also as simple as that. Doesn't necessarily mean copying, but you can get inspired by beautiful things you see on the street. Some nice building, nice bar. It's not a shame to say it, because most of the time that's what happens. Even unconsciously, you don't have to go there and say, "Oh, I like this. We'll do the same." You just dine in a beautiful, fine restaurant, and then without even you recognize, you look around and you like something, and then unconsciously goes in the back of your mind, and then when time comes, it can come out without even you realize that it's the same. In fact, most of the time you do the design and then you realize that somewhere else is the same. I mean, they did it the same without you know it. and you think that was your original idea. So inspiration can be various, can be from references, or also something that you just come in your mind while you meditating. That happened to me all the time, and I have idea all the time. So meditating means when you are resting, or you are calm, or you're having good time, you're reading a book, and you just have some idea. Also, that's
Perfect. Can you talk about some project that you did using SPC Flooring?
yes. I think the one that is the one that we just finished last month in Jingan area, Jingan Temple area. So it's in a skyscraper. It's on a 33rd floor. It's all flooring. So and this office is. I thought that this is quite a good example for this flooring, because we actually literally used all CPC flooring for all. Only in some rooms we didn't. I think it was the finance administration rooms we used carpet, and the rest was all CPC. They really like it. It went very well with the design, because the client wanted to have all black, gray, and white colors, which is a little bit special, because usually in an office space you trying to be a little bit flexible with colors, trying to have some colors, but the client was very specific. They want only these colors. So for the flooring, then it's okay. So what do we do with flooring? Because you cannot have a black floor. It's getting it was probably too much, to have all black flooring. So we use the gray flooring. But what type of flooring? We had to go for the SPC flooring, because it was the best solution. And you can see from the images, from the video, from the photo, that works very well with the design. So we use the tiled one. So the client wanted to use, like a very big pieces, the biggest you can get, just to minimize the. No, actually, they just wanted to. There was no specific reason why. They just want to have a big tile, so we choose that, and we had to choose also the direction, of the, because this particular flooring it is resemble of a wooden floor, so we have to choose the pattern, which direction of the pattern. And I think it works very well, as I said, because it's an office, it's a share office, so there will be different people coming, so they were not really caring about the maintenance of the office, or the caring of the floor. So I think that was the best option.
Thank you. For which type of project would you recommend the SPC tiles more?
More, okay, because it could be literally used everywhere. To answer, but even in the house, in a private house, but more I would say is easy to answer, because it's the commercial space usually is the best for this. For the reason I said before, because usually, they after a few years they want to change it, they want to move out. So I think this would be the best, I guess, for the commercial. But then also, I think F&B can easily go. Some coffee space or restaurant, bars also. But office space, certainly, right? You can also use it.
So how long does it take you in general to go for a project from the beginning sketches and approval of the client to completion?
Yeah, so interior project now in China get a little longer time, because it's there's many more rules that you need to follow before the worker could stay overnight working, for example, and they could just, they could making noises all night long, even if they were allowed in terms of noises, compliances. It's not about that. It's not because they're complaining now. No, it's because there are certain rules that the government made this year.
Okay.
To all workers, especially in different, of course, different part of China is different, but here, for example, there are very strict rules. So now, before a project was about 3 months time, now it's 5 months time, because you need to follow those time of working. You cannot over, or even if there's no, even if you theoretically you could keep going, you cannot use. There is a limit of energy that you can use.
Oh, as well. So there is a time limit now, and there is also energy limit.
Also, and many more. So extend a little bit the time. But this one, for example, we've completed in 3.5 months. Okay, the same for the office, the one I mentioned before.
So what is your favorite project that you had to work on? What is the project that you feel is the one you had the much pleasure to do?
Well, I think that on this question, I would say I'm happy to answer that I have not a favorite one, because otherwise it means the other one would have been a little bit boring or maybe more difficult. But I try to take pleasure, let's say, in doing it of all, different ways. But if otherwise I will not do it. I will let my collaborators do it. So if I've been involved, means there is certain things that So all of them. There is no specific one. Sorry.
Wow, you're inspired by everything you did. Okay.
You have to find you have to find something in a different project that has been.
But maybe it's what makes you different and staying over the top.
Maybe I don't know, because we also do a lot of laboratories, which, by the way, I didn't mention that. There's another project that the SPC Flooring is the most suitable, and that's where we use it in clean laboratories, and also we use it in our pharmaceutical project we do around China. So this is another very, very important type of project that this type of flooring it can be used and has to be used. So in that instance, for example, we also try to make the most of out of it, because we also try to having some pleasure in design this type of project. While it's not so easy to do that, because you might think that designing a pharmaceutical space is not so fun, but actually every project trying to make it different, so we're trying to design it and as best as we can. Right.
Okay. And what makes SPC tiles the best solution for this type of industry laboratories?
This is about hygienic and in terms of cleaning and maintenance, so it stays as it does not saturate very quickly, so it does not get damaged with the time. So the client, this client, they've been using this for as long as it existed, because it's easy to clean. Or the cleaners, I should say, sorry, they are very easy to clean. They know how to clean it. So it's a hot water, just water usually. Or there are some specific the detergent that you use for the CPC, and so. So I think it's the performance of the flooring that is the best, because it's very
It's very easy to clean it. It does not keep the dust and the dirt. So, and it's very flexible
to go over the walls, right? So the edge of the walls. So usually you always run it just on top of the walls, just to avoid the corners. This for the labs. And so that's why we use this flooring.
Okay, maybe some last questions. What do you enjoy being in Shanghai and working in Shanghai and having your own project and your life in general? What do you like about this?
I like that today we are doing this. So there's every day literally something that, and this is also thanks to us, right? That we have to think something every day. To just, otherwise we'll be very monotonous. And so every day or every week, let's say every month, no more than a month, you need to really reinvent something. You need to do, even for me, all of us, you need to, whatever field you're working, you need to try to bring something new to your company. So if I have not many projects, for example, for a while, I'm trying to do, okay, with the company, we think something to do it, something that is not necessarily sit down on the desk, and trying to thinking about why there's no project doing now. So you need to. So this is, I think, this is also nice here, because in Shanghai they give you this opportunity to meet people and talking and know different things all the time.
Okay, and do you have any final words that you want to say?
No, well, just thank you for meeting you. It's nice always to talk to you and meet you. No, thank you also for this. So maybe, yeah, to show you are the first one to come here. Nobody has seen it yet. So
Yes, thank you for offering us the opportunity to see at first hand the beautiful Damarco, and because I have been here before and I'm here now, I can see how beautifully you blended the before style and the new modern face of Damarco, and I really love it.
no, thank you. Thank you very much. I hope the client like the customers like. Sorry, not the client. The client likes it.
I'm sure they will. Thank you.